Good morning. This is the day the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. I am Pastor Marianne Kellenbach, pastor at Living Faith Church, which is located in the city of Port St. Lucie in the community of tradition in Florida. What a glorious day we have today, this May 26th, Wednesday in the year 2021. I love starting off our time together by saying this is the day the Lord has made. And so what else? How do we respond? Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And these last few weeks we've been focusing on creation and the story of creation, the poetic story of creation as found in the first chapter of Genesis. And we remember that this is poetry. We're not talking history here. Remember, we're talking poetry and God's involvement in creation. How many years ago? But the ongoing involvement. But we're going to get to that. That's what we're going to talk about today. So we're focusing now on day 5. We are focusing on the addition, or God creating and bringing into being creatures to fill the waters and birds to fill the sky. And yesterday's devotion from the NIV translation spoke about that. And I shared a bit of how I love to experience both the sea life as well as the birds when I go to the beach. I love to experience it anywhere, because anywhere you walk around, you can see the birds. But I particularly love when I am at the ocean that I get to experience both of them at the same time. And they're so fun to watch, aren't they? If you've never done it before, please take time to make sure that you do it. And especially as we're coming into the summer, enjoy the animals that you see, the sea creatures. Enjoy the fish that maybe come along and peck at your feet. If you're in the ocean, watch that crab go by from afar. Watch that jellyfish go floating by from afar. If you're at a lake, you know all the different animals that wander around on the bottom and swim around your legs, and it's just fun. Of course, I say it's fun, but I'm always nervous when I can't see what's in the ocean or in the lake. So I do like to be able to see these animals. I'm going to read to you from the Message and then share with you some stories about God's continuing to create. Or maybe God had created and it's our continuing to discover. So listen again to these words from Genesis chapter 1, and this is from the Message. God spoke, "Swarm, ocean, with fish and all sea life. Birds fly through the sky over earth." God created the huge whales, all the swarm of life in the waters, and every kind and species of flying birds. God saw that it was good. God speaks, and it happens. God speaks into being, life teeming in the waters, life flying and soaring through our skies. Oh my goodness. God is so incredibly creative, and I'm curious if we really take the time to think about that creativity that our Lord has, and that God has a sense of humor also when we start to look at some of these birds and some of this sea life. So I have some pictures that I want you to dwell on, but first I would like to start with this story that came out a couple of months ago in February. I saw it on CBS News, February of 2021. They started out by saying there's a purplish monster that was found on the floor of the ocean. It was 25 kilos. It was found right off the coast of Japan, which in this particular area of Japan, it's very, very well-fished waters. Suruga, Japan's deepest bay. It's heavily fished, is the notes that I took. They call it a slickhead because it has a scale-free head. This is a brand new fish that was discovered. Who knows when this fish was created? We have absolutely no idea whatsoever. But it was just discovered for the first time in very deep waters, about 8,000 feet below the surface of the earth, on the floor of the ocean. It's interesting because one of the commentators said, "We know more about the moon and so very little about the deep sea." I find that to be so fascinating. And what that led me to do, as you can see this picture of the slickhead, and as I mentioned, it has no scales on its head, which is why it's called a slickhead. But I want you to spend some time now dwelling in these photos of rare sea creatures and rare birds. And I want you to think about how creative our Lord is, just how creative. And then, if you have some time, I want you to Google, if you can, or whatever search engine or browser that you use, and look for birds and sea creatures that are unusual, and enjoy the experience of trying to figure out what God was thinking when God created these very, very unique creatures. God spoke, and there it was. God spoke into being something that had not been there. And God was incredibly creative in that which God spoke into being. Dwell on that today, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Blessings.